Good morning on this, I'd say a little bit rainy day here in the GTA. My name is Anna Angelova. I'm a business coach and consultant and a host of this daily podcast, More Than Just Task Management, the podcast that helps you build a thriving and sustainable business by providing value every single day. 10 to 15 minutes. Well, we're actually trying to make it under 10. And when I say we, it's usually me and Joris Minnesvand. And if you have been listening to the episodes this week, he is in Austria and he's not able to join because he has client meetings there. So for the weekdays this week, it's only me, and he'll be joining us back on Saturday for sure. And today, what we have in store for you is a topic that a lot of us are interested in, right? And this topic is increasing profits without overworking your team. And to start on this, like one thing is like how do we increase profit margins, right? How do we do this? And the first step is actually understanding what might be eating your profits. And from what we have seen, like with our experience with over 45 years combined experience in business and consulting, what we've seen that there are a few major things that usually eat profits. The first one is, of course, inefficiencies, wasted time, manual processes, and tasks that reduce productivity, tasks that are unnecessary and, as I said, waste of time. So this is the first, like the biggest one, like bloating. And this is the thing as in the beginning, even if we start with a lean framework, right? Even if we have a lean business, interestingly, the way things work is that what starts as a simple lean system gets bloated over time. And we've seen this a lot in a lot of businesses, and especially again, as your business grows, as you grow from like a small business to a medium and even like a bigger corporation, talk about inefficiencies there. So this is one. Then underpricing is another one. And especially in today's competitive world, and also a lot of the imposter syndrome we all have, like underpricing is also something huge, where the prices you set don't really reflect the value of the product or service you offer. So this is the second one that eats into the profit margins. The third one we've seen if you work with in some kind of a service-based business, it's scope creep. Taking the work that was not really planned, right? Work that was not in scope in the beginning, but it's like, oh yeah, we can do this and then we can do that. And suddenly like you are delivering so much more than what you're paid for. So this is the third biggest one. And the last one I'll mention is something that um, happens with some businesses, not all businesses, and there are times when it happens, like with different generations. It's the turnover, the employee turnover, and you've probably heard that hiring, like when someone leaves and having to hire someone new, like it's three times the salary. I think the last one I saw was like three times the annual salary of this person. This is how much it costs you. So if these are like the biggest mistakes or the biggest, not mistakes, but the biggest ones that eat your profit margins, then naturally what you want to do to be able to increase your profit margins without overworking your team, without overwhelming your team, those inefficiencies we talk about, right? So what can you do about them? So one thing is automation. Like how can you automate repetitive tasks? And especially nowadays, like, there's so much available software. Like even Excel itself can be automated. Like simple formulas and things like this can automate what you do within Excel as well. So you don't have to input things manually. So using some kind of a tool, software to help you remove and some of the repetitive tasks, to help you link some of the systems even you have, right? Where like when you invoice, when you schedule things are automated. You don't have to go back and forth with clients and things like this. So maybe there is an opportunity there. Another one is removing some of the work that your people are doing, right? So when we're talking about inefficiencies, maybe you can remove wasted things that waste your time, right? So look into some of those activities. Are they really necessary? Eliminate, eliminate, eliminate. Focus on what really matters, and not just for you, but your team as well, right? And of course, having clear systems and ways of doing things, it reduces the error and wasted time, because like you know that when you make an error, you need to redo things. So having clear processes helps with this one. And in terms of pricing, it's one of the things where when you underprice, right? So what can you do about it? And I know that we all have our money stories, and with pricing, there are a few things you can do, right? So one thing is if, especially if you're in a service-based business, test value-based pricing, where you price based on the transformation you deliver, not the hours you spend, right? Because here is the thing, and we might have all heard this story with Picasso, or in other, I've heard it in other ways as well, where he drew a picture and said like 100,000, and she was like, "But you spent like 5 minutes on this," and he said that he spent all his life, and that's why he can do this in 5 minutes. So maybe there's an opportunity to explore value-based pricing with your next client. Then another one is positioning your product or service as a premium option. Maybe the value you deliver, whether it's a product or a service, is premium, right? It's something that's way better than what's out there. So how can you position it? How can you create that perceived value that allows for better margins? So think about this as well. And then the last one is bundling and upselling. And this is one thing where like you can bundle things together to create more value, upsell when someone buys something, like upsell to the next level, or like offer other things, right? And this is something that can also increase your revenue, right? Without any additional operational complexity. And these things can also be automated. When someone is on your website and they buy something, you've seen this on Amazon as well. Well, people who bought this as well. So offering other things as well. And if you're not doing this, you are wasting an opportunity to increase your profits from a single purchase from the same person. So these are some ways you can definitely explore and see how do you increase your prices, like if you're underpricing. And then with scope creep and employee turnover, of course, since these are some of the biggest problems, like with scope creep, be very vigilant, right? This is a reminder that it happens. And when more scope is added, yes, it's okay for the relationship to not charge for everything. And this is where, like, if you do the value-based pricing, this is where it actually helps, because you're saying, okay, the transformation is this, and this is how much my services, our services, our offer is. So with value-based pricing, scope creep is more of shouldn't be that much of an issue, because if I help you generate additional $1 million of profit and you give me 200,000, like for the year ahead, like, scope creep might not be that much of a problem. But if you still use fixed price options where like the scope creep is actually a problem, like if it's time-based, time and material, then yeah, like you charge when the scope increases. But if it's fixed price, then of course, again, with scope creep, be very, very, very vigilant. And yes, you don't want to charge for absolutely everything you do, every additional thing, but you want to pay attention. And sit down and say, okay, like, yeah, we did these things, but now it's getting bloated. Let's sit down and renegotiate, change things up. And with the high employee turnover, of course, you want to create an environment, a culture where your employees, first of all, you hire the right people who really want to be with you and work with you. Then you lead them well, you give them the opportunities, you show them the progress, and they stay with you. And this is definitely a topic for another day. And just wrapping things up for today, the main takeaways, right? So the biggest things that eat profits usually are the inefficiencies you have, the underpricing you might struggle with, like you might be underpricing your products and services, scope creep, and turnover with your employees. So look at these areas, look at these things for your business and see, are there opportunities to automate things or remove things for efficiencies and systemize things for inefficiencies? And then are there ways for you to test value-based pricing or position your product and services as premium or bundle up and upsell, right? And then scope creep and employee turnover. Are there ways for you to improve this, to be vigilant and stay alert in terms of scope creep, and then also make sure you hire the right people? So this is it for today. Make sure you take action and come back tomorrow for another episode of More Than Just Task Management. Have a wonderful day and see you tomorrow, everyone. Bye.